Hey, how's it going, ladies and gentlemen? This is Retroplex and Knuckles. Nah, I'm just kidding. It's just me. I couldn't afford to get Knuckles on the video since CGI is too fucking expensive. But that's okay, because I'm gonna be talking about the Knuckles spin-off series in this video. This 6-episode mini-series takes place in between Sonic 2 and Sonic 3. And by the look of the first trailer, this series looked very promising, with Knuckles as the main protagonist, Wade Whipple as the secondary character, and the introduction of some brand new villains. But everything in this trailer, along with the trademarking for Knuckles, should definitely be taken with a grain of salt, because the plot for the series is interesting, to say the least. This series kicks off with episode 1 titled The Warrior, and right off the bat, this is already the best episode of the show, as it opens up with Knuckles running around in the woods, completing obstacles, doing his usual warrior stuff, and you got Sonic, Tails, and Maddie there too. And the plot of this episode is that Knuckles is trying to make himself at home when he moves in at the Wachowski household with Sonic and Tails. Sonic finds Knuckles chilling on the roof, and he asks Knuckles if he enjoys the view of Green Hill, and he just constantly responds with a monotone no with every optimistic question Sonic asks him, which is pretty funny. And Sonic tells Knuckles that he doesn't need to worry about any incoming threats now that Dr. Eggman's defeated, and that he should just hit the brakes and just make himself at home. And that's when Knuckles brings in his warrior shenanigans, and he turns the living room into an arena and kidnaps their mailman. Or when Knuckles builds his own throne out of pieces of Maddie's car. And that's when Maddie had enough and grounds Knuckles, and bro took the term grounded literally, as he lays on the ground doing absolutely nothing. This whole segment with Knuckles bringing his warrior antics to the house is pretty hilarious to me. And that's when Knuckles is visited by the ghost of his guardian grandpa, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. He's visited by Parmigiano Reggiano. I think that's how you say his name. And he tells Knuckles that in order to carry on the legacy of the Echidna tribe, he must recruit Wade, for some reason, and help him win the bowling tournament in Reno, Nevada, for some reason. Now, I'm not super familiar with Parmigiano's character in the past, but I certainly don't remember him being a complete dumbass like in this show. I mean, if you were to tell me that this adaptation of him was the leader of the Echidna tribe, I would not believe you. Then Knuckles finds Wade, and Wade agrees to let Knuckles train him for the tournament so Wade can get even with his narcissistic British dad who abandoned him at TJ Maxx when he was little. What? Yeah, out of all places he left him at, bro left him at TJ Maxx. What in the actual fuck? Then Wade and Knuckles go to the bowling alley, and that's when they get jumped by Agent Cuddy and Agent British Lady, who were sent by the buyer, who's the main villain of the series. And I don't really remember his motivation, nor do I care, because he is hands down the most forgetful character in the series. The fight scene that occurs in the bowling alley is actually really good. I really like the part where Knuckles goes, "You think you can take my power?" And Agent Cuddy responds with the good old, "Do I look like I need your power?" line from Sonic 2, which completely defeats the purpose of why they are there to take Knuckles in the first place. Then the episode ends with the agent successfully capturing Knuckles, and now it's completely up to Wade to save him. Then in episode 2, titled "Don't Say I Wasn't There For You," is the episode that you come to a realization that this series isn't about Knuckles. Oh no. This entire 6-episode miniseries that is titled Knuckles is actually about Wade motherfucking Whipple, and Knuckles is just a side character. Oh boy, oh shoot. So episode 2 starts off with Wade coming up with a plan to save Knuckles from the abandoned ski lodge, and he goes to the convenience store, buys a bunch of stupid shit, and he imagines how he saves him, James Bond style. Bro literally dresses up in a tux, sets up booby traps in the lodge, carries Knuckles out of the building like a doll, and does a flip out of the building. Just another reminder, this is all from Wade's imagination. This scene was just so hilariously stupid that I weirdly enjoyed it in a way. But that's until Wade actually tries to save Knuckles, and in the process of doing it, his car just explodes from the dynamite he bought. But that doesn't stop him when he somehow outsmarts the agents and saves Knuckles and escapes. But there's this one scene I do want to point out when Agent Cuddy pins Wade against the wall and explains his plan, but he gets cut off when Agent Cuddy's mom calls him, and Wade doesn't even bother stopping him. He just joins in on the call. Oh, how stupid can this man be? Holy sh! Then Wade and Knuckles escape and they find a place to hide from the agents. And you know where they go to hide? No, it's not the Wachowski household or that Siberian lodge from Sonic 2 where Sonic and Tails had like that dance scene. They go out to hide in Wade's mom's house. Hell yeah! And that brings us to episode 3, titled The Shabbat Dinner. And the title of this episode sums up the plot of the episode perfectly. Which, actually, hang on a second, I'll be right back.
Two hours later.
Alright, as I was saying, Wade and Knuckles shows up, and he introduces Knuckles to his mom, and his sister Wanda is there too. Oh boy. Anyways, Wade's mom sets up the traditional Shabbat dinner. She makes all these traditional Jewish dishes, and I swear this whole family dinner scene takes up a vast majority of this episode. I cannot express how awkward this scene felt. This feeling is almost equivalent to when you're at a friend's house and their parents start arguing with them while you're in the same room as them. That's basically how I felt throughout this whole scene. And out of the ordinary, Wanda just jams a fork into Wade's shoulder. Oh, and Wanda Whipple, she is without a doubt the worst f***ing character, not only in the Knuckles series, but the worst character in the Sonic cinematic universe. She's just so annoying and twisted and so egotistical that she will not let one person forget that she's an FBI agent and that she has to have her work attire on 24/7 and carry around a metal detector with her at all times, especially when she checks Knuckles with it. Like, why the fuck did she have to violate Knuckles like that? Like, jeez. This bitch just makes Maddie's sister look like a saint. And they even show flashbacks of Wade and Wanda as kids and show her completely terrorizing him. Yeah, I'm not gonna go super in depth with the rest of the scene, but from what I remember, there was some dark humor thrown in here as well that I'm not really gonna talk about.
Now the last of my tribe.
Oh. Our tribe has been through some tough times too. Minus the giant owls. He's basically Jewish.
Oh, and Knuckles just looks so out of place in this scene too. Then the Whipple residence gets attacked by a group of bounty hunters that are looking for Wade. And the fight scenes in this episode are surprisingly really good, especially with the one shot of Knuckles and Wade's mom fighting the bounty hunters with that rotating camera. That part's actually really sick. Then there's episode 4 titled The Flames of Disaster, and this is when we start to go less of Knuckles and more of Wade, as Wade gets kidnapped by his own bowling partner from episode 1, who turns out to be a bounty hunter. And Knuckles chooses not to save Wade as he wants Wade to learn how to save himself, and that's the way of training to be a warrior. And somehow, I don't remember how, Wade wakes up in the afterlife and is greeted by Parmigiano, and he teaches Wade on how to escape in the form of a musical number. Oh god, what is this show? Oh my goodness. They use this as a way to explain Knuckles' origin story, and they even reference Sonic 06, and this is literally the corniest shit I've ever seen. I'm trying to decide which is worse, the Shabbat dinner scene or the musical number. Then Wade escapes and gets powers for 10 seconds? Then he goes one-on-one with the bounty hunter guy and he wins. And that's when Wade and Knuckles head off to Reno, and Wade's mom and sister join along as well. Yay! Which brings us to episode 5, titled Reno Baby. Knuckles and the Whipple family arrive at the casino in Reno where the bowling tournament's being held, and Wade spots his father, the self-centered Pistol Pete. Now I can see where Wanda gets her overly inflated ego from, and Knuckles becomes his wingman and helps Wade out with confronting him. That's until Knuckles gets distracted by a mascot character that weirdly resembles Knuckles' color scheme and completely fucks it up for Wade. But that doesn't stop Wade from bonding with his father as they chat at the bar, and Pete manipulates Wade into forgiving him for abandoning him him at the TJ Maxx. Then Mother Whipple tries to stop Wade from rekindling with his dad as he shows him his penthouse. And that's when it's revealed that Pete's been working with Agent Cuddy and that other lady that I don't remember her name, and kidnapped his mom and sister as a way to keep Wade away from the tournament. And the agents make an offer to Wade that they'll release his mom and his bitch-ass sister if he brings some knuckles. And that brings us to the 6th and thankfully final episode of the series titled What Happens in Reno Stays in Reno. And that's when they do the whole fake out thing when Wade lures Knuckles into the penthouse, and it turns out Knuckles was in on the plan all along when he dodges the traps and was on call with Wade. That little part where it was revealed that Knuckles had an AirPod on when it falls out of his ear just cracks me up for some reason. And Knuckles defeats both of the agents, and that's the last we see of them. Yeah, not even what, 2 minutes into the episode and they're already defeated that easily. Okay then. Then basically the rest of the episode is split into Wade competing in the bowling tourney and Knuckles outside fighting the buyer. And guess which part gets the most attention? I'll give you time to think. Still need more time? If you guessed the Wade bowling scene, then you are absolutely 1000% correct. Because who needs a Knuckles fight scene on his own series when you can just watch a 40-year-old man-child trying to one-up his self-centered, flamboyant dad who abandoned him at the TJ Maxx when he was a kid? That's exactly what we want for sure. Okay, but all jokes aside, I really have nothing else to say about the tourney. Wade wins and Pete gets arrested, I think. I don't remember. But then we get the fight with Knuckles and the buyer, and I don't really remember much from this fight either, except for the part where Knuckles uses the Flames of Disaster for the first time, and you have that goofy text screaming, "Flames of Disaster!" Not really sure why they included that text box, but the Flames of Disaster part was actually pretty cool. After that, Wade tells Knuckles that he won, they both high-fived, and that's the end of the episode. Yeah, this show literally ends with the most nothing burger of an ending. I just don't know what to say about this ending because of how dull it is. And that is the end of the Knuckles show. Oh, sorry, correction. That is the end of the Wade show and a little bit of Knuckles. Even though this is only a mini-series and my expectations were really low, I still think this could have been a lot better. I really don't like how Knuckles got less screen time than Wade, and I don't even have a problem with Wade as a character. As a matter of fact, I really liked his character in the first 2 Sonic movies as the comic relief character. That's what I liked about his character. He was only there for comic relief with minimal screen time, and that's it. But in Knuckles, the writers went all out to give Wade the main character role with his whole bowling tournament arc and give him as much screen time as they can, which is really damaging to his character. And the supporting characters are no help at all, and they're just there because they're there. I mean, there's still some good that came out of this series, and that is Knuckles himself. Even if he doesn't have that much screen time, I still think Knuckles' character is amazing, and I'm just gonna say this. Movie Knuckles probably has to be my all-time favorite adaptation in Knuckles, and Idris Elba does an excellent job portraying him. And I do like the dynamic Knuckles had with Wade. It's such a shame though that we didn't get enough of him in his own series. Idris Elba and Keanu Reeves said that they want to do a Knuckles and Shadow spin-off series, so maybe they can use this as an opportunity to make Knuckles Season 2 and include Shadow as the secondary main character instead of Wade. These 2 characters are actually really similar to each other, so pitching in a spin-off starring these 2 would make sense, but only time will tell when or if that'll happen. Giving the Wade and Knuckles show a 5.2 out of 10. Hope you enjoyed my review on the Knuckles series, and if you did, feel free to hit the like button. If you want to see more videos like these, feel free to hit the subscribe button. And also hit that little bell icon so you get notified when I upload a new video. These videos take a lot of time and effort, so your support is greatly appreciated. That's all I got for today. Till next time, bye-bye. Okay, but when in the actual flying is Tails gonna get his own spin-off? Like, come on, Paramount, you're giving Sonic his own movies, Knuckles his own spin-off, but not Tails? Like, come on, do my boy justice.